the size of the next biggest bunker buster in the U.S. or Israeli arsenals. The GBU-57AB MOP project began as early as 2004 and picked up steam under DARPA's direction in the years that followed. Testing began under DARPA in 2008, and in February 2010, the program was transferred to the Air Force. In 2012, the Air Force ordered upgrades to the MOP and began conducting tests of the upgraded bomb in 2013. The MOP reportedly packs some 5,300 pounds of explosive material and will deliver more than 10 times the explosive power of its predecessor, the BLU-109. This allows it to burrow through some 60 feet of reinforced concrete and explode 200 feet underground, allowing it to destroy even the most hard-to-reach targets underneath the earth. Number 4. Amphibious Combat Vehicle. Beyond nuclear weapons, Iran threatens the U.S. with its anti-access aerial denial capabilities. Like China, anti-ship missiles figure prominently into Iran's A2AD strategy. Unlike China, Iran has a less sophisticated arsenal of medium-range and over-the-horizon precision-guided missiles. To compensate, Iran would need to rely on its geographical advantages to execute any A2AD strategy in the Persian Gulf against the United States. Fortunately for Tehran, Iran has by far the largest coastline inside the Strait of Hormuz at some 1,356 miles, to go with 480 kilometers of Arabian Sea coastline property. Moreover, as Robert Kaplan has pointed out, geographical features like bays, inlets, coves, and islands along Iran's coastline are excellent for concealing weapon systems at close range to U.S. naval assets operating in the Persian Gulf. As such, in the event of an Iranian-U.S. conflict in the Persian Gulf, such as Iran trying to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. might find it necessary to seize some of Iran's coastal property, including the 3 Persian Gulf islands of Abu Musa and Greater and Lesser Tunb. They'll require the U.S. to execute amphibious landings, which have become increasingly difficult in light of the proliferation of precision-guided munitions. Fortunately, the U.S. Marine Corps have just the answers in the form of the Amphibious Combat Vehicle, ACV 1.1. Much about the ACV 1.1 is still unknown, but the original request for information in 2011 called for a vehicle that could self-deploy from amphibious shipping and deliver a reinforced Marine infantry squad, 17 Marines, for a launch distance at or beyond 12 miles, with a speed of not less than 8 knots. Crucially, for the current context, the Marines demanded that the vehicle must be able to protect against direct and indirect fire and mines and improvised explosive device, IED, threats. Since the Marines have signaled they're scaling back some of the ACV 1.1 requirements, primarily because of cost, and the program has come under considerable criticism internally. Furthermore, for the time being, the Marines may rely more on an upgraded version of the current AAV-7. A version of the ACV 1.1 is still in the works, which is expected to reach initial operating capability in 2020. This will be followed by an even more formidable ACV 2.0 when the available technology reaches envisioned needs. None of this bodes well for Iran. 5. Lasers. While still in the early part of their development, military laser systems are quickly becoming a reality. According to various news reports, recent tests of the Navy laser weapon system, LAWS, surpassed their expectations in how quickly and effectively it tracked and destroyed ever more difficult targets. This is bad news for Iran and its A2AD strategy. One of Tehran's most important A2AD capabilities is the use of massive fleets of lightly armed speedboats to swarm American naval vessels operating in the Persian Gulf. In addition, Iran has also invested heavily in unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs. While these will be utilized for multiple ends, there's good reason to think Iran may use some of them to swarm U.S. platforms. In both cases, Iran seeks to use the many and cheap to overcome the few and expensive. That is, swarming seeks to use basic arithmetic to overwhelm America's superior military systems. To do this successfully, swarming must mirror missiles in being overwhelmingly cheaper to use offensively than to defend against. Laser systems seek to deny swarming tactics this advantage. Instead of defending against swarming tactics with expensive anti-ship and anti-air missiles, lasers will allow America to destroy large swarms of speedboats or drones cheaply, at $1 per shot of a directed energy source. The Navy said the cost of these laser systems is about 1/100th of existing missile systems. Equally important, unlike missiles, where space constraints limit the number of warships they can carry, lasers never run out. As Chief of Naval Research Rear Admiral Matthew Clunder said of lasers last year, "This is a revolutionary capability. This very affordable technology is going to change the way we fight and save lives." Not surprisingly, the Navy is currently testing the laws in the Persian Gulf aboard the USS Potts. That ship features a gun that uses electromagnetic force to send a missile to a range of 125 miles at 7.5 times the speed of sound. Although lasers still face crucial limitations, such as their ability to operate in less than perfect weather conditions, expect the Navy to work out the kinks in the years ahead.
The true reason why all of America's enemies should still fear the B-1 bomber.
Hey guys, so my name is Tara and I just tried to open my spam container. Love spam. Problem with that is that that little part broke. So I'm gonna YouTube a solution.
And it worked. See.
And wait 2 hours for it to download the latest software. As you can see, it's turning on. We got a green flashing light, and this power light is going to flash for up to 2 hours. It's going to download the latest software updates. After 2 hours, after it finalizes, we're going to check our signal and see if it improved from 1 to 2 bars to full max signal. Once this cell spot is up and running, anyone with T-Mobile.
Fuck them. That's the solution.
As we write this, you don't have to look far to find headlines in the media containing the words US and Iran and conflict. The BBC writes that the USA has sent over 1,000 troops to the Middle East because, according to the American Acting Defense Secretary, Patrick Shanahan, Iran has been acting hostile. Iran has been accused of oil tanker attacks, and the country, it said, will also soon breach a 2015 deal regarding its uranium stockpiles. The New York Times has called this a new confrontation with the West. How bad could this get? What kind of a threat would Iran be? Is there really a threat at all when compared to the might of the US military? Let's have a look. If you watched many of our other military comparison shows, then you're likely already an expert when it comes to the arsenal of the US military. You'll know that the US spends more on defense than any other country by a long, long way. Sources differ, and it's hard to get the exact spending down to the last dollar, but in 2018 it's reported that the USA's defense budget was somewhere between $587 billion and $597 billion. But if you go to the actual US Department of Defense website, one of the first things you'll read is that President Trump plans to pump an extra $160 billion into defense. The prediction from the DoD right...
That is so much fucking money. Can I get 9?
शिक्षाएं, वही सामाजिक परंपराएं और वही धर्मशास्त्र, वही किस्से कहानियां, वही सिद्धांत और वही तमाम घिसे पिटे सबक। लेकिन इतना ही नहीं समझ पा रहे हैं कि ये सब एक नहीं 1000 बार आजमाने के बावजूद आप अपना जीवन खुशियों से भरने में नाकाम रहे हैं। खैर, अब वक्त आ चुका है जब आपको कुछ नया समझाना व करना ही होगा। आखिर आप मनुष्य हैं, कभी न कभी तो आपको इस सिलसिले का अंत लाना ही होगा, और इस सिलसिले का अंत मुझे भली भांति समझे बगैर संभव नहीं। आप यह तय जान लें कि मेरे शक्ति रूपी फिलामेंट का उपयोग किए बगैर आपका जीवन रोशनी होने वाला नहीं है। रोशन होने वाला नहीं। तो आज इस हेतु मैं स्वयं आपकी सहायता को आया हूँ ताकि अपनी संरचना कार्यप्रणाली की बाबत आपको विस्तार से बता सकूं। मेरा अस्तित्व। यदि मैं अपने बारे में यानी आपके मन के बारे में कुछ कहूँ तो मैं सारे मनुष्य में समान रूप से उपस्थित हूँ, और थोड़ी समझ बढ़ाएंगे तो पाएंगे कि मनुष्य जीवन की पूरी बागडोर ही मेरे हाथों में है। वही यदि प्रभाव की बात करूँ तो इस मनुष्य जीवन का कोई पहलू मुझसे अछूता नहीं, और मेरी कार्य प्रणाली की चर्चा करूँ तो वह इतनी तो कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है ही कि मेरी बाबत आपको कुछ भी समझना इतना आसान नहीं, समझाना इतना आसान नहीं, क्योंकि आपका सब कुछ मैं होते हुए भी आपके लिए तो बिल्कुल अनजाना विषय हूँ। मुझे समझने व पकड़ने में बड़े से बड़े बुद्धिमानों ने मुंह की खाई है। अतः सर्वप्रथम मैं आपको अपने अस्तित्व के बाबत बताना चाहूँगा, क्योंकि सबसे बड़ी बात तो यह है कि इतनी प्रगति कर लेने के बावजूद विज्ञान पूरी तरह से मेरे अस्तित्व को लेकर भ्रमित है। हालांकि इसका भी एक बुनियादी कारण है। दरअसल विज्ञान दृश्यमान वस्तुओं के निरीक्षण परीक्षण कर उनकी कार्यप्रणाली खोजने का नाम है। विज्ञान वस्तुओं के मिलन और टकराव से होने वाले परिणामों की खोज का नाम है, और इसे मैं अपनी भाषा में कहूँ तो विज्ञान टाइम और स्पेस के भीतर की वस्तुओं की कार्यप्रणाली
Party, pull up in that Rari, hop out in that papa. You know I'm the party. Pretty bitches, Brazilian kitchen, stay over Carly. Any bitches wanting can get it, we go retarded. I was in the air, running through it fast like a running back. Pull up on my cash for the money, had to show my ass. I was with them cats, hitting licks, trying to get a bag, flip a bag, get another bag. That's 100 bands, running man. When it come to cash, tell 'em running man. New York, bitch, I'm Nino, when you're done, man. I don't understand why they mad at red. If I turn my savage on, leave your shirt on red. I don't like to speak with bitches steady press, but I don't fit none. Check a bitch, but rather get a check like what's the income. But she getting better by the day. I put the shit up in his face to keep a nigga in his place. Don't communicate with bitches that don't wanna get their bread up. Cause they wrapped around these niggas, but they fed up. Shout out bitches getting money, get your bread up. Even if they getting money with your legs up. Carly, pull up in that Rari, hop out in that papa. You know I'm the party. Pretty bitches, Brazilian kitchen, stay all with Carly. Any bitches wanting can get it, we go retarded. I was in the air, running through it fast like a running back. Pull up on my cash for the money, had to show my ass. I was with them cats, hitting licks, trying to get a bag, flip a bag, get another bag. That's 100 bands. I'm not getting why they press, why they mad now. Fat ass, if you look, better stand down. In her feelings, cause a nigga is a man now. Bitch, you mad cause you broke and you ran down. I'm the life of the party, get to the money like relax. Why you be only your feelings? Fuck nigga, don't cuff nigga. Pretty face in my ass fat. Tell a lady nigga bag back. I don't really chill with no one unless it's send it to my cash app. Carly, pull up in that Rari, hop out in that papa. You know I'm the party. Pretty bitches, Brazilian itches, stay all with Carly. Any bitches wanting can get it, we go retarded. I was in the air, running through it fast like a running back. Pull up on my cash for the money, had to show my ass. I was with them cats, hitting licks, trying to get a bag, flip a bag, get another bag. That's 100 bands. Johnny Gill. Bitch, you see these heels? Bitch, you see these wheels? When it comes to swiping that black card, bitch, I ain't got no shield. I run up the tab. I come with the bag. Like one bitch, number one bitch, you angry bird so mad. See, I told y'all stop playing with me and y'all hoes still playing. Now show love, stop hating on me and y'all hoes still hate. What I'm saying is, I'm up and you can't do shit. I'm popping in real life on TV and in music. Rather stop when I pop out. Camera flash when I hop out. Same foreign babies, got foreign habits, cause what I'm wearing is not out. You can't find this in the store. I spend bits when I'm bored. Just put my foot on the floor. I got that you can afford. She saw new Chanel, all of this expensive shit. My jello boots, Mussolini, all of this expensive shit. Run it up on all of this expensive shit. Lamborghini, Prima, Benz, and Bentley shit. Run up the tab. Run up the tab. Everything new edition. Everything expensive. Run up the tab. Run up the tab. Everything new edition. Everything expensive. Run up the tab. Run up the tab. Everything new edition. Everything expensive. Run up the tab. Run up the tab. Everything new edition. Everything expensive. Run up the tab. Run up the tab. Everything new edition. Everything expensive. Run up the tab. Run up the tab. Everything new edition. Everything expensive. I remember doing turd and catching so